Another fine day at Lowell Park and another baseball game. Could this be the day that the Kettleers snap out of its funk and secure win number 1? Well, we'll find out as they have their hands full when Brewster makes the trip east. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Kettle Talk, the official pregame show of the Cotuit Kettleers. I'm Jon Perez. The Bats woke up last night against Bourne. However, it wasn't enough to put the Kettleers in the winner's circle. Let's take a look at the highlights. The second game of a back-to-back saw the Bourne Braves travel to Cotuit to take on the Kettleers. Taylor Lehman from Penn State made his debut for Cotuit, while Brady Miller from Western Oregon was on the bump for the Braves. Top of the third inning, Connor Wong from Houston steps up to the dish and smashes a solo home run to left field for his first of the year. Braves lead 1-0. In the next inning, first and second and one out, Tyler Houston pokes a single to right. Braves double their lead. They're up 2-0. Next batter, Jeremy Ironman comes to the dish and smacks a ball to left. Quinn Brody can't handle it and it skips past him. 2 runs will score and Bourne leads 4-0. Let's pick it up in the bottom of the 7th after Cal Stevenson legged out an infield hit and Bourne's Brendan Little issued a couple of walks. Hagan Owenby from East Tennessee State smacks a 2 RBI single to left to cut Bourne's lead to 4-2. Next batter, Quinn Brody from Stanford hits a chopper to right. Owenby comes around to score. Cotuit within 1, 4-3 Bourne. Zach Cook would come in and uncork a wild pitch. Owenby comes around to score to tie it at 4. A couple of pitches later, Tim Cisnera lofts a fly ball to center. Brody able to tag. Cotuit leads 5-4. Top of the 8th inning, bags full. Luis Alvarado continues to be a thorn in the Kettleers' side. He shoots a liner to right. It's deep enough to score the run. McVie touches the plate, and we're tied at 5. The Kettleers would respond in the bottom of the 8th. Cal Stevenson, who is headed to Arizona next year, loops a single to left. Keith Weisenberg would then throw a ball away, trying to pick off Stephenson. He would advance all the way to third. Jordan Pierce from Nevada walks, and that would set up Grayson Janista with runners on the corners and no out. The Wichita State sophomore hit it hard, but hit it right into a double play. 4-6-3 to end the threat. Top 9 in his second inning of work, Colton Hawk from Stanford. On the mound, Wong at first. Willie Yan from UConn hits a liner to left. Quinn Brody once again misjudges the ball. It scoots past him. Bourne takes a 6-5 lead. They would tack on another and win it 7-5. Cotuit has lost their first 4 games.
The overview is kind of an instant replay of really the first 3 games. It boils down to one thing. It boils down to defense. And, when you've watched the other teams that we've played, they just played better defense. And I need to do a better job. Like I tell the players, it's my fault when we lose, and I congratulate them when they win. We didn't talk about anything tonight. These guys are intelligent enough to know, what you need to do. And there's just plays out there, several that, we're very capable of making. We didn't make them.
I think that once we get a couple more of those miscues on the opposite side and we start getting some swings off, some timely hits, like we did tonight. We got some timely hits off tonight. They just got a little bit more than we did. But as soon as we start getting those, and I think that the bats will come around. It's early right now, so we're just adjusting right now. A bunch of people haven't seen live pitching in a while, so I think it's going to get around pretty soon.
So while Cotuit was able to put up some crooked numbers with their lineup, head coach Mike Roberts is not at ease.
Early in the year here, I don't think there's any coach up here, even if you're 4-0, that's comfortable, because most of us do not have our club here, so there's no way to be comfortable. If you're 4-0, you could say you're playing well, but we've got to figure out we've got 5, 6, 7 guys coming in this week, just like every other club does, and then we'll just have to go from there and figure out, what our pitching rotation is, what our relief situation is, who are going to be our first couple of catchers, who's going to DH. So there's just a lot of decisions to be made. Who's going to be released, because we do have to release a lot of people with people coming in. So. It will be a different club by the weekend. Does that mean it's going to be a really good club or the same club? I don't know until we get everybody here. And now with 3 guys in the World Series, it's going to be first week in July before we get everybody here. I don't know if every club up here has somebody in the World Series. They probably do. But, ours happen to be really important people. One is your shortstop, and two really good young arms. So we'll kind of see how things wash out here over the next few days.
Let's take a look at the scoreboard from last night. Chatham over YD 4-3. DJ Artis and Patrick Mathis both went deep for the Anglers. YD still looking for their first win. Wareham holds on to beat Brewster. Tandem pitching led the way for the Gatemen. Anthony Heron Jr. went 4 innings. Ryan Selmer from Maryland got the win, and Ryan Wilson from Pepperdine put a bow on the game for his first save of the year. Trevor Larnark from Oregon State went 2 for 4 with a ribeye steak to lead Falmouth over Hyannis, and Harwich won again yesterday because baseball was played. The Mariners continue their hot start. Tyler Kilpatrick went 1 for 4 with an RBI. Harwich will stay undefeated for at least 24 hours. They have today off as the rest of the league plays today because of Saturday's washout. So with that said, let's take a look at the standings. A 3-way tie for second in the East. Bourne still a perfect 4-0 in the West, while YD, Hyannis, and Cotuit all look for win number 1. As is much of the story around the Cape, teams have been playing shorthanded and with a handful of temps in the lineup. Cotuit is no different. In fact, they have 3 players still competing in the College World Series. A couple of arms in Bobby Holmes and Jason Billis from Coastal Carolina, and the much-talked-about shortstop Clay Fisher from UC Santa Barbara. The Kettleers are trying to stay afloat. Help is on the way with players reporting this week, but they'll be without third baseman Jake Bivens, who hurt his arm, making a throw to first on Monday night in Bourne. Bivens is expected to have an MRI and will be sent home for the summer.
I'm not a physician. We've all seen lots of elbows and shoulders, but right now, he's going to have an MRI and see, but I don't think you'll see him in the lineup anytime soon, and most likely probably not the rest of the summer. So we'll have to figure out kind of where we're going there, because he was the person we recruited to play third the whole summer. So we'll have to revamp there a little bit, because Spencer's a temp and he wanted to be drafted, and again, you got to talk to each individual player when you get to this stage, particularly the temp players. I've got to speak to every single one of them to kind of see where we're going from here.
So back here at Lowell Park, I'm joined by Jon Mettus. And Jon, we just heard the audio about Jake Bivens not being with the team. How much of an impact does that have on the team?
Yeah, Jake Bivens was released earlier today, and he was the guy they wanted at third base, and right now they don't really have another option. As Coach said with Spencer Gay, he is a temporary player, so you don't know if he's going to be here the whole year or if he even wants to be here the whole year. So it looks like you're probably going to have to look at, bringing in another infielder, maybe moving some infield around. Tim Cisnera, the catcher, he had to play third base at times last year. I joked about that with him earlier in the season, and, he could wind up back there because they have 4 catchers on the roster. But you might, one of those guys that's kind of a multi-tool infielder, you might have to be putting them over at third base, but obviously that's not the best option.
Yesterday, Quinn Brody from Stanford struggled in the field. Jack Klein comes back after being drafted as a pitcher, but he's not a pitcher, so I'm not exactly sure what scouting department had him under for that. He does have a good arm, though. Professional outfield. What does he bring in year 2 with the Kettleers?
Jack Klein is one of the best defensive outfielders that I've seen on the Cape in my year and a couple games. He doesn't make many errors out there. He's fairly quick, but bottom line, he stays behind the ball. He keeps the ball in front of him, doesn't let it go by, which is something Brody hasn't been able to do very well the last few games. And Coach says that boils down to him being indecisive on the plays, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jack Klein in there tonight or even tomorrow.
It wasn't a win, but the Kettleers did score 5 runs in 1 inning. I'm sure psychologically that has to help, knowing that they could have put up a crooked number. They did, and maybe that'll give them momentum moving forward.
Yeah, just the fact that they were able to come back from being down 4 runs is a big mental boost. Losing when you've only scored 0 runs or 1 runs is different than when you were able to put up 5 runs. Score more than you had in the first 3 games. I think it's definitely a boost for them, kind of just reassurance that these bats will come around, and this team can hit. It's just a matter of kind of getting the right hits at the right time and things like that.
All right, Jon, thanks for the time. That's Jon Mettus. We'll step aside. The Beach House Grill at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa is the perfect spot for a seaside lunch or evening clamping. A proud member of leading hotels of the world. I'm here with Cal Stevenson, headed to Arizona next year, formerly of Nevada and Chabot, and Cal went 2 for 4 yesterday. What was working for you at the plate to start that rally?
I was just seeing the ball well. They brought in a left-handed pitcher who was throwing pretty hard, something I haven't seen in a while. So when I got on base that inning, during that at-bat, I was looking for a fastball, and fortunately I got a fastball, and I got enough to where I could get on base.
You're primarily known for your legs. They throw the ball away. You end up going to third after they almost try and pick you off at first base. I know you're going to be used for your legs a lot this year too. How have you maybe improved on your drag bunting or even just slap hitting to use your legs as an asset?
During practice or early hitting, we come out here and work on little things like that. So I haven't bunted out here yet. I want to add it more to my game as we go on throughout the summer. Coach Roberts is absolutely one of those coaches that could help me add that part of my game.
Outside of maybe your speed, what are some other areas that you're looking to improve on?
Well, to be a better base runner. Coach Roberts talks about how you don't have to be the fastest guy on base, but you could definitely improve with better jumps, anticipating when a pitcher is going to go home and when the right time to steal base is. So, that's something I really want to get better at.
You were drafted by the Dodgers. Are you intending to go to school or sign with the Dodgers?
I was going to go to school.
So with that said, did you hear any word from Major League Scouts, even the Dodger Scouts, on what tools you had and then what you're looking to refurbish?
Well, talking to a Dodger Scout, the local Dodger Scout, he told me that he just liked the way I play the game. Obviously, I'm not the biggest guy, so they want to see me get a lot stronger and add a little more extra base hits into my game. That's something that I really haven't had over the years, but if I want to make it to professional baseball or Major League Baseball, I'm definitely going to have to get bigger and stronger and add that part of my game too.
You played for Jay Johnson at Nevada. He's going over to Arizona. What is it about playing for him that makes you want to follow him around the country?
He's an easy guy to play for. He's an awesome coach, definitely a player's coach, and that's kind of why I didn't want to stay at Nevada when he left. I know that he is going to do the best of his ability to make me the best player I can, and it's going to be in a great atmosphere as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Cal. All right, that's Cal Stevenson.